Oh, this was inevitable. So the news that's sweeping the internet right now is Spider-Man has been taken away from the MCU. My stance on it is a little bittersweet because honestly, I really don't care that much. I mean, I care, but it's like, I think Spider-Man's had his fun in the sun, man. Here's the thing. My favorite version of Spider-Man is always going to be Andrew Garfield, right? I think Tom Holland's Spider-Man was okay, but he was very, very far away from the Spider-Man that I think could have been, because they're really trying to rework the character to fit this SJW diversity nonsense that I pointed out in Homecoming. I mean, it's not completely a bad idea to change stuff around, but when you do it to push an agenda, it's kind of ridiculous. In the case, in the case of Spider-Man, the actor is fine, but the world he was set in is the problem. And going into Far From Home, my biggest problem with the film is Mysterio leaking his secret identity at the end of the film. Spoilers. Because it's like, at that point, it's like, well, Spider-Man without an identity is kind of ridiculous. This is why the Spider-Man Civil War comic was so stupid, because I don't believe in a million years Peter Parker would ever leak his secret out like that. But then have to have the film end on a cliffhanger like that, and then have Sony just take him away from the MCU is kind of dumb, but it's whatever. I kind of made my peace with it. I'm not gonna throw a huge rant over it because, like, who cares? I mean, he's great in the MCU for the most. I'm glad he was in there for a little while, but at the same time, I didn't see it lasting that long. I really didn't. I mean, there's only so much you can do, especially when Norman Osborn. I mean, what can you really do at this point after his identity's gone? What can you do? And they pretty much, like, ignore the Norman Osborn thing, which is like, at this point, what can you really do with the character? Because Iron Man pretty much made him who he is in this particular version. There's no Ben Parker. May doesn't even freaking mention the guy. Yeah, Aunt May, who's like 30 years old. I'm like, his friend, what's his name, Ned, and the chick, fake Mary Jane, knows. If a third familiar came out, everybody in the whole freaking school would know his identity. That's my point. Without an identity, he cannot be Spider-Man, so this is kind of bittersweet, in my opinion. I mean, like, at least with the Sony films, they never race swapped Mary Jane or Gwen to push an agenda, which is exactly what Marvel did. People supported it because that's what people do when, it's a popular thing. They just go along with it, but it's like, never made any sense to make Mary Jane black. I don't care what anyone says. It makes no sense. Call it something else, but she'll never be Mary Jane to me. It's the bottom line. Mary Jane's a redhead. I don't know how many redheads there are in the world, but I don't know why it's so hard for people to find redheads for these roles. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, like, Rangers Spider-Man 2 had a cliffhanger, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It's good as a standalone film, it works. For the Marvel Universe, the Marvel Universe, the way they did stuff, I don't know if it really matters what to do with Spider-Man anymore. I think the character needs to rest. Same thing with Batman and the DC Universe. They've rebooted Batman way too many times. Ben Affleck, in my opinion, being the second best, right behind Keaton, as far as the Batman character, and they got rid of him, replaced by a Twilight guy, Robert something. Same with Spider-Man. Well, some people love Maguire, some people prefer Andrew Garfield, some prefer Tom Holland. And now, what are they going to do now? They're going to keep Holland and just have it be Sony-only films? How are they going to explain all that? They're just going to leave all that and not explain. It doesn't make any sense. So the logical thing is for them to reboot them again. But in my opinion, I think to just let it go and just reboot them on TV or something. Do something smaller, like Daredevil. Daredevil was fantastic on Netflix. All the Marvel shows on Netflix were fantastic. Except Iron Fist, of course. See, Daredevil works on TV better because of the character. He's gritty. You can do more with the character. You can flesh him out more. I mean, honestly, if he doesn't really get that much development in the films, especially the new ones, because a lot of stuff I feel like a lot of stuff are rushed. But anyway, it was nice and refreshing to get Spider-Man back to being in college and stuff. You know, being an adult with adult issues. It's Spider-Man. Emphasis on the man part. Like, it doesn't make any sense for him to be in high school, but he's never going to be in class. If the Green Goblin attacks the high school, he's not going to be sitting in class when there's ABCs. He's going to go sit up and kick Goblin's ass. Doesn't make any sense for him to be in high school. He's never going to be in class. Like, I always thought the whole concept was stupid. The Ultimate Spider-Man, it's okay, but I'm like, he's never in school. Can you name one issue in Ultimate Spider-Man where he's actually in school instead of going out in costume? You know, other than the first issue, of course, but even then. The supervillains attack the school, which they would do with his identity out there. He's never going to be sitting in class. But I digress. So, yeah. If Disney would just buy Spider-Man from Sony, all this could be avoided. But they won't do it. They won't do it. Some reason why Disney will never hire a competent director to be a good, decent Star Wars film. Because that would be too easy for them. Or I should say too complicated, because they don't have the brain power for it. It's the same thing with this. If Marvel had some real balls, they just buy Spider-Man and be done with it. Just get away from Sony, man. I mean, I'm not particularly crazy about some of the decisions they've made, like having Spider-Man's identity leaked and all that, and just I think it's really dumb. Far From Home was a good film. It was way better than Homecoming. Vulture was fantastic in Homecoming. The rest of the film, not so much. Far From Home was great. Mysterio was fantastic. Stay true to who he is. He's a great villain. Ending was terrible, in my opinion. So, I'd rather just leave it at that. Because the third film would just make it worse, in my opinion. I think they pulled the plug right on time because third film was always the trickiest because we all know they're going to try and do Sinister Six, which would be a complete failure because there's no setup for it. And there's no Avengers left. Spider-Man can fight Sinister Six, but he's not really efficient to fight him alone. If we had the Avengers alongside him, it would be even cooler. But it's never going to happen. Contracts are up, Captain America's gone, Iron Man's gone, literally gone. Thor's with those dopey Guardian people. No one knows Captain Marvel is, Doctor Strange does whatever. All the Avengers are gone. They've all disbanded. Like it's over. Endgame was it. literal end game is it. There's nothing left. So as far as I'm concerned, Sony can have. It's not really a big deal to me anymore. I'm completely satisfied in a way for what we've gotten from the Marvel Universe. I'm glad he at least appeared in the Marvel with other Marvel characters. So that's a blessing in itself. Anything else, like, I got the Spider-Man game. I have comics. I got my costumes. I'm good. I'm good. This isn't really one of those incidents where I'm gonna throw a fit. Because ultimately, it's not my decision to make what happens with Spider-Man in movies. So I'm good. I'm good.